Hello friends, another chess video. So I will today show that there's this interesting game that I played. I was almost losing the game. I was in terms of the strength, my position was not as strong as I wanted it to be. But eventually I won by time. But what I learned from this game is never give up. So it's a small lesson of never giving up and try your best from whatever position you are at. So I'll show this game from the beginning. So I was playing with uh, Kapral 78 from Russia. So he plays d4, I play e6, then he plays f4, bishop f4, I play knight c6, and then he blocks my knight by playing a3, then I play a6, anticipating that he might be opening up this diagonal for the bishop. Then he activates his knight with c3. Then I go a little attacking mode, take my queen at h4. Then he immediately wants to kick me out from there, so he pushes g3. I go to a safe place, g4. Then he attacks with his bishop with h3. I just go to h5, another safe position. Then he attacks my knight. Then at this point I could have taken this pawn with my pawn at e6, but I did not want to lose the guard in front of my king here, so I just don't take it. And then this pawn was unprotected here at c7, so he takes the c7. So now I take that pawn at d5. Then he takes a little bit time here, then he goes takes it with knight. Then again I still didn't want to open this diagonal for his bishop at h3, so I just go for I don't care about queen exchange, so I just take it with my queen at d5. Immediately he actually does not do queen exchange right away. He just first blocks his to save his rook, and he plays f3 pawn. Now now I double down on this position here. Now also activate my knight at f6. Then he attacks my queen by playing e4. Okay, now this is an interesting move. You see, I played this one. Now if he takes my knight, then he will lose this rook here. So I thought I played a really good move, but and maybe surprised him a little, but I forgot that he can just do the queen exchange, then I will be down by my knight, and that's exactly what he played. And given that he's almost 1400, he exactly did it. Now as you can see, I'll have to take the queen here, and now I lose my knight here. And also all along I was saving this diagonal, so I mean ultimately all my effort to keep this diagonal off ultimately came to be fruitless. So now I'm down by one knight, but I have taken more of his pawn. Now he does castling, and I basically am trying to make these pawns protecting each other. So he puts his knight there, I think if you would have attacked this pawn right away, I might be in a bad shape, but maybe not, because I would have pushed my pawn here anyway. So I just do this, all my 4 pawns are guarded. Then he just activates his knight more, f4. Then I basically push this pawn here at b5. Then he plays d5. Then I just arrange my castling here. Then he attacks my rook. I think here that was a bad move from I should have anticipated. What could I have done here? Nothing I could have done. Could I have done anything before? So when he brought his knight, I could bring my pawn here from d2. Then I could have activated this bishop and bring d6 actually, and I could activate this bishop to bring here from c8 to e6. That way he wouldn't be able to bring his knight all the way here. But that's like, I had to think like 3 moves ahead of it. Anyway, so now at this point, what did I do? I played something interesting because I was already down, so I was no longer playing to really win this game. I just wanted to make it interesting. So I just, okay, I'll just give up my rook and see. I just don't like all of your knight moves. So I just exchange. I just wanted to take his knight, but he usually plays it good. He immediately does not take his knight. So I did not see this coming. So he just takes my pawn there first. Then I do castling. Then he takes my rook. That's a good move from him. But then I just take his knight. Now he doubles down. I know now he will go for my other rook and basically weaken me down. So I basically try to open. I just want to extend the game as much as possible. So I just open a path for my king. Yeah, he goes for rook exchange. He takes the rook. I take with bishop. Then he attacks my bishop. His goal is basically just weakens me. So I just don't want to give up my bishop. So he takes his bishop at e7. Then I just give him a check just to surprise him. Then he brings his king to b1. Then I just, and the reason was to push my pawn, and maybe if by any chance he makes any mistake, I just try to find an opportunity to make a queen there. So he checks me at d8. I go to f7. Then he charges my bishop at c6. Then I push my pawn to g4. Then that was a little dumb from me. Why did I do that? I should have, I just wanted to, because this pawn here at f4, f5 was unprotected. So at this point I cared more about these pawns than my bishop here. So he takes my bishop, then I save this other bishop, bring it to g7, and he tries to now protect his bishop here, brings it to f1. Then I just save this pawn, bring it to a5. Then well, anyway, I lose the other pawn with his bishop move at b5. Now I'm just playing a little random here at d4. He charges my bishop. I just come down to e5. Then he checks me. I just go to a black diagonal there, black square there, g7. Then he charges that one. Now I find an opportunity, and here I think he ends up taking that, and I push this pawn here. He probably should have taken that pawn. No, but maybe not. If it would take the pawn, I would take it, then he would lose that pawn. That would have been even worse for him, maybe. So he played the right thing there. Now he blocks my pawn move. Also, I won't be able to push this pawn here from e4 to e3. Now I don't know why I played this. I was not thinking at this point. So another bad move. Then I push my king here, g3. He goes to d5. Bishop move. I put f6. So we already played 40 moves. This is probably one of the longest games I've ever played. So I go there at e1. He just takes another pawn. He takes another pawn. I go to d6. He pushes h4. I go c7. He pushes h5. I am at b7. He pushes pawn to c3. Then I go to f8 so that he cannot. And at this point, he was down by time. I am just running around, and he takes that pawn. Now he checks me. I go here. Then I take his pawn. Now that's interesting. So he now is going for another queen. So he forgets that his rook is under attack here. So I just take his rook. Then he made this king. Queen at a8. I just give hope. I'm just playing for fun right now. I'm just running away. d6. He wants to make another queen, and I go to f6. Then I go to no, that was e6. Now I go to that was e5. Now I go to f5. He checks me. I go there. He wants to make another queen. He just makes another queen. Now he forgets. I think because he was on only 20 seconds, so he was under pressure. He forgets that I am basically guarding this position with my bishop, and I immediately take his bishop. Then he checks me. I go up. Then I hide behind his. So he makes another queen. I hide behind his pawn there, and then I just take that pawn. Now I'm like, he has two queens, two bishop, but he is down time. He literally has 15 seconds. So I'm just because I have no move right now, that I cannot move my king anywhere. So now that's why I played the bishop here. I bring the bishop here, and he had lots of good moves. For example, here he could have just brought his queen. Instead of bringing his queen to f5, he could have brought the queen to f. Yeah, this would have been a checkmate move if you would put f2, because I wouldn't be able to take it with my bishop, because this diagonal, this square is, this file is captured by or guarded by his other queen at g7. So that would be checkmate. No, that won't be checkmate. I could go here at h3. Anyway, I just go there at h2. I don't know why he went there. And he just wanted to. Because he didn't have time, he was not thinking much, and at this point he just out of his time. So I basically win the game. I get 6 points, and he loses minus 6 points. So yeah, chess is fun. So the whole point of showing this game is I did not give up. I just went on playing. I was just having fun. I just woke up in the morning, and I ended up winning this game, feeling happy. Even if I would have lost, it would still have been a good game from me, because how I defended myself. So it's interesting, and all of you chess lovers, I think you understand what I mean, and thank you.